I'm going to say something that to some people is going to sound absolutely wild. The channel is 11 years old. I gotta be honest. I can hardly believe that. Like, it's my channel, and I can hardly believe that. For a multitude of different reasons. One, it's crazy to think that it's been 11 years. In fact, going back to some of the earliest video content on this channel, like a long time ago, I had hair and was wearing this shirt. Guys, this is one of those things that it's like a milestone, and at the same time, it's one of those things that kind of makes me feel like you know, sometimes you like look and you say, did I waste my time? I can get that. But you know what's wild about it? His channel's 11 years old. And I never took it serious enough until very recently. Like, I had all these other channels and I had friends that I was doing things with. So this channel never felt important. It was like my channel so I could have playlists. And every now and then I would want to do something. I'd feel like I kind of wanted to get serious. But I never knew about what. Like, for a very long time. I can remember I did, like, news content. I did random fandom stuff. I focused on video games. I focused on comic books. For a while, I focused on literally only X-Men. And it's wild to me. Like, I did video game news for a while. And I realize now why it never worked. I was chasing trends. Like, me and my buddies would talk video games all the time. And that's a thing that I like a lot. I like to play video games. I won't deny that. And we already talked about it. I had an actual problem with video games that got me in trouble. It was a bad collecting time for me because I had a literal addiction that occurred that kind of put me into a collecting addiction problem where I was just buying things I didn't need and things I would never play and things that, like, just absolute waste of money and time. One could argue, sure, Bill, aren't you still doing that? But I would argue I'm not. It's a very different kind of situation. And if you go watch that video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Video games was the worst collecting habit of my life. And it was something that I had to put under control and come back to later on when I had things a little more figured out. But I was talking video games with my buddies. We were doing podcasts, Controller Pile-Up, Legacy of Gaming. And it was always fun. But it was never right, necessarily. Like, it wasn't me. I would get in, I would talk with my friends, I would sometimes get hyped, and even now, every now and then I would, like, fall into a character. I could feel myself do it. To keep the show running with the energy that it needed and things of that nature, sometimes I would just kind of like buy into what we were talking about and just run with it, just have fun with it. And that worked, but I think sometimes, while a lot of it was very much me, sometimes I would lose sight of the things that like meant something to me in the conversation. Because like here, when I talk about things, like I talk about I get a new Mega Man or something like that, and then I start saying, well, this is like a thing from my past, and this is something I really like, and this is a thing I'm very passionate about. Like, nothing hits like toys. Nothing. And the weird thing is, we've talked about it in a video specifically where I talked about being a 40-year-old collector. This is something that I have done forever. I'm always buying figures. I'm always getting rid of figures. I'm always kind of shuffling things in and out and like expanding and trying little photography things and whatnot. It's something that I'm legit passionate about. Always have been. But strangely enough, it's also something that like it felt like it was my thing. And not something that I was going to share. It was my thing. But then for some reason I wanted to share all the video game stuff. Like I'd talk video games over here with the guys, and then I'd be like, oh, well, we didn't get to talk about this. I'll talk about this. I tried video game reviews. They were fine, but they always felt like I was working. I tried regular, like just video game talks. I tried video game news. Nothing in video games did I ever feel passionate enough that it held my attention for long enough to do anything real with it. When I did comic books, I just talked about comic book storylines. But not necessarily that those comic book storylines ever really meant anything to me on any personal level. I talked about like tech news and things like that. Like, this channel is weird when I really think back on it over all the time that I've had it. 11 years. And it is just now on, like, it's just now in growth. Like, when I look at my metrics, everything is up. Literally everything is up. My views are up. My watch time is up. My subscribers are up. My estimated revenue is up. Like literally every single thing is up. And I don't think it's just a matter of posting. Like, you could argue I post a lot of content, and that gets a lot of people to kind of come in and view. But it doesn't. And the reason I know this is because over the years, I posted a lot of content, and it never really got many views. It never really got a whole lot of attention. But this does. And I think I know why. I think I struck a bit of a nerve with myself. And it kind of filtered on to everything that I was doing. It kind of affected the people that I was talking to. They started to realize this is my thing. This isn't something I share with my friend group. They don't collect. I don't have anybody in my social circle that's really about this. This is me. And in a way, that's what changes it. This is something that I understand. It's something I've done. It's something I've made my mistakes in. It's something that I enjoy quite substantially. And it's the most real thing that I do. Comic books is great. I love comics. But I have a very different view of comics over the course of time that I have grown up. I don't really care for single issues. I'm not really interested in a lot of modern stories. My home lies with seeing the storylines that I want to see, buying the graphic novels to the kinds of stuff that I want to see, and collecting omnibus for the storylines that I'm genuinely interested in, and getting complete content. Not this one that then leads to this one that leads to this one that then I got to go to this book over here. I don't want to do that. I have zero desire to ever do that again. I don't want a pull list. I don't want to like run around and find the stuff that I want. And like, that's also kind of true with toys. We've talked about that. I'm not interested in the hunt so much anymore. There's a Juggernaut that's going to come out. I want it. Done. I want to pick up my phone, push the button, have the Juggernaut, have him show up. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to drive around to 6 stores and maybe come across it. There is still a cool feeling when I go to a random Target or something like that and I walk down the aisle and I happen to see that one item, that really cool item that either I didn't know was out or I knew was out, but I never expected to come across it. That's cool. That's still there. But I save that for going to toy shows and whatnot now. I just don't have the desire to put myself through that anymore. I just want the things I want because they mean something to me and I want to talk about them. I want to talk about why Ninja Turtles is awesome. I want to talk about why I love Star Trek. I want to talk about why certain heroes speak to me the way they do. I want to talk about why I've added certain Gundams to the shelf. Like, all of this stuff is stuff that's important and interesting to me. This stuff. And every single one of these items is a dive into a part of myself and my history. Every single item. I said it before. Every item in this room has a story. And if it doesn't, it's gone. I have to be drawn to it some way, somehow. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. We've talked about it. Cammy, we've talked about it. Conan, we've talked about it. There are legit reasons for every single item. And those reasons can go very deep or they can be very shallow. I have a long history with Street Fighter II and an interest in Street Fighter II, and I talk about it. I have a long history with Mega Man, and I talk about it. I have a genuine interest in things like Power Girl, and we've talked about it. These aren't just figures that I collect for the sake of having plastic. There's a genuine story behind every single part, every piece, and I've always kind of been like that. And it's in that, in general, where I should have been focusing this channel for years. And I didn't. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff that made no sense with this channel. I mean, now we have over 657 videos here. And they're almost all something that actually matters, something I want to talk about, something that brings me genuine interest, something I can talk about on a deeper level. I think that changes the game. Like, the angry video game nerd was a big thing. Chased it. Tried to do funny reviews. Tried to do some serious reviews. Tried to do some positive reviews. I won't say that I did like terrible. I did fine. I did your basic little video game reviewing channel, but it never felt right. And I think people could tell. And I think that's the biggest thing here. 20 years on YouTube. I've been watching YouTube literally since it started. But 11 years doing it directly. Actually more than that, because I was on a lot of other channels. But this channel would start up and do something and then die off. And start up and do something and then die off. Because I'd go off to other projects where I'd focus really heavy on my actual permanent job. You know, like the job that I do. And so that is the biggest difference, is that this isn't something that like goes away. I don't like, hey, I bought a bunch of comics and now I'm kind of taking a break because I'm reading a bunch of comics and now I've got other things that I'm doing over here and so I'm not really doing comics right now. This doesn't stop. It is always in flux, always evolving, always changing. I'm always looking for the right figure. I'm always, and this might sound bad, always looking for the next figure, but always looking for the important figure. There are certain collections that I want to finish in very specific ways. I don't want all of Playmates, but there are specific Playmates that I'm looking for. I don't want all Marvel Legends, but there are certain ones that catch my attention, and they catch my attention for very specific reasons in the history of my life. And I found out that since I started sharing that, this channel has changed immensely. And it's been worth doing. So now I've stuck to it. Like, we do the lives, people show up, we talk, we hang out, we discuss figure news, upcoming stuff, we open figures, we vote on what's next, we talk about the coolest things that are going on, the stuff we're excited about and whatnot. Like, it's a more genuine connection. One that I genuinely notice. 11 years on YouTube, and I've done so much on here. This isn't even my original channel. There was another channel which was just like ReploidBill. I shared that channel with a girlfriend, and somehow when we split, it was somehow tied to her email. And like, I probably could have asked her for the information. We weren't like on necessarily like terrible terms. I could have said, hey, by the way, you have my YouTube stuff. But I didn't. And then I got signed out one day. And then I was like, And I opened this channel, ReploidBill 2. And like, for a while, there were like multiple years where I'd go like an entire year and I wouldn't post anything. I was just using it to watch channels. Watch channel here, watch channel here. But not sharing anything, not doing anything, because I was putting my energies other places. Now that this is my hobby channel, it has grown. It is connecting. I'm talking to people. And I found a genuine re-interest in YouTube. And it's just crazy to me to look back on 11 years. Because to me, the channel feels new. Like, now that I've finally opened up the channel and I'm doing what I want to do with it, and I've stayed consistent, and I've stayed more real about what I'm doing, the channel only feels 2-3 years old. Like, on a personal level. It's so wild to see that it sent me a birthday thing and said, hey, ReploidBill, your channel is 11 years old. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And then I started thinking about it, and like, it is. 11 years on YouTube. Man, it sure has changed. When I started taking this channel seriously, I was filming it on a cell phone. I was living in an apartment, filming on a cell phone, and I think some of the first videos were like taking toys out of bins and talking about things like, I don't even think the videos are actually here anymore, but like, I'd be interested if I could get to the end of the playlist and see it. Like, I'm trying to go through some of it right now, but like, we also do a lot more videos than we used to here, so there's a lot to go through. I'm trying to track back when this channel became what it currently is. I'm still scrolling. This is crazy. Like, we've put out so much now, because now that I take the channel seriously, there's been so much to talk about and so much to do. And I think this channel really started to alter when I decided to say, I'm building the shelves. Like, and I was still kind of doing things in between where I was like, hey, like, I did random videos like why I play as Princess Peach and things like that. But like, most of the other content was dying off because I was really starting to do this. Like this. I would say, realistically, that this channel probably became what it is probably Yeah. I'm looking at it. I think that this channel started around, like, becoming exactly what it's gonna be. It started around the year-end review 2021, but then I was still doing random stuff. I did, like, why I stopped playing Pokemon. I did things like checking out a Strange New Worlds trailer, but then I started slowly opening up. Started talking about the first time I reviewed a Donatello statue. I talked about buying my Star Trek edition figures for the first time. I talked about things like starting to collect He-Man and whatnot. And from there, this channel really became what it is. And to me, it's just wild to think that it really didn't become what it is until, like, entering 2022. 11 years. That's crazy to me. Time flies, man. Just a like trip down WoW, I guess. Let me get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.